And just gonna confirm it because I don't really care. And all right. How's every ether doing out there? I'd say I'm doing pretty good. I had, let me put this down a little bit. Make sure it's on my ear. There we go. In case anybody feels like talking through the mic, through their mics, because I think I might be going and doing and going and doing and doing and going. All right. All right, so it's just gonna think about things, you know, and kind of come up with a topic. It's gonna be stupid, probably. It's probably not gonna make any sense. At some point, it's probably gonna dip down into some serious talk, and then it's gonna think about oh man, lots of stuff to talk about, you know.
You just gonna stand there while I burn to a crisp?
We're gonna see if there's any other cars around here, or there we go. We got another car. Oh. Ooh, baby, please don't go. Ba 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 ba. All right. There is another way to believe, to be able to think. I think a lot about what's on the other side of stuff. I think a lot about what's like in the occult and stuff like that, or like the paranormal or something like that. It means a lot of times that I don't have a grasp on reality, so I make stuff up sometimes to actually to get myself into a situation, or basically to talk myself out of a certain like, I don't know, like I have like a panic attack sometimes, so not really panic attacks, but like nervous fits, and I think that whenever I have those nervous fits, I kind of mimic the TV that's around me, or the media that's been around me for a little while. I think that if I would have developed this when I was younger, or if I had this when I was younger at all, that I'd probably be maybe fucked up in the head. And then it probably has something to do with the amount of stuff that they're dealing with on our ports. But I mean, that aside, I think that there is a heavy amount of what people need to understand is there's I don't know, there's just a lot of man, I don't get it. Dude, I just don't get it. I don't get what like media has for me, because that's the reason why I constantly think about the easiest way to mock it, I guess. What's the easiest way to tell something to go fuck itself?
Suspect doing 50 miles per hour.
The easiest way. I mean,
Black 4-door.
without like turning any heads, I guess. There are but I actually said, like, go fuck yourself to one person before, and that's probably the last person I'm gonna say go fuck yourself to, because only for the simple fact that
505 on Fort Zancudo.
I don't care enough anymore.
Fort Zancudo.
You know, I don't care that much about what I see on TV constantly, because I do want to care, but it seems as though that through a bunch of other people and a bunch of people's wanting to like be a certain thing, it's like everyone wants to like oh there's like it's like you can't have a witch hunt when you have this awesome fiesta going on. It's like that's what the kind of euphemism I see, and like it's just like, man, I don't get it, you know? People just.
Black Cheval, fugitive.
I just don't care enough. I want to care enough, believe me, but it's just. Do I want to care enough? I want to care a lot enough. Yeah, I do. I care a lot. But the amount of douchebaggery there is in the world, the amount of ass-hattery there is in the world, makes it more easy for people themselves to get away with the stupidest amount of dumb shit that you could possibly ever even think of. Or not just get away with stuff, but think they're above judgment. Think that the speculative part of what they think about, or the smart part of what they actually start to think about, is it doesn't involve them.
Suspect northbound on Joshua Road.
It doesn't involve their judgment. It doesn't involve their assumption or their assessment of a situation, as that assessment is maybe wrong. You know? Could I possibly think that maybe they think they have to have something to live for, so
Officers report 505 on Joshua Road.
and within those confines of a thought process, they're tiresome. And I just see a part of myself drifting back and saying, there's no way that I can grasp what they're saying. It's just the way that they're constantly saying it seems as though they're trying to fight someone. It seems as though they're trying to give someone the old 1-2 punch in an assessment or in a thing. It's like they're not trying to tell you to change your mind because of a certain reason, but they're giving you their reasons and saying that that's the only reason you need to change your mind. And yes, I'm cheating, but I don't care. Nice. But as though people always talk like they're the quick-witted New Yorker in a YouTube video sometimes. It's like they're not trying to change someone's mind as much as they're trying to get away with something. It's like they're a small child that thinks that has book knowledge and knows the vocabulary, but still has the mind of a child and gets away with things that a child would get away with. Like instead of looking for world peace or trying to solve world hunger, he would still think that world hunger, it can be solved. Then it's not an ongoing problem that constantly happens because of our either working organs or dividing systems. It's just like, come on, man. Think about science, man. Because when you start to realize that there's no... That's the kind of person I used to be. The kind of person I used to be was the kind of person who would look at something and know that there was a problem, but instead of seeing the problem for what it was or seeing the problem where it was, I'd start making some wild simulation in my own mind about what I think the problem is and how the problem should be solved in order to be able to see a better future, or not just to see a better future, but to see my own better future into which I think the problem should be solved. And that's not how problems are. It's just like it doesn't have an end to it. It doesn't have an end to it because there's always another problem. There's always another thing that needs solving. There's always another solution to be able to pair with another problem. It's like I get really out of whack sometimes whenever I see a problem, and I'm just like, I want to solve it so badly, but I know that the maturity inside of myself knows to just walk away and realize that I can't solve that problem. And that's what I was talking about last time, I think, of not caring enough, or not caring at all. And it's not the fact that I don't care, it's more the fact that I've seen the problem before, and I've seen the problem get way out of hand. It's the experience of being a 30-year-old and the knowledge of still being that adolescent, or still seeing that myself as that immature sort of state, and seeing those problems that I used to have when I was like 15, and realizing that those problems when I was 15 were nothing compared to the problems that are of the real world and of the things that I actually think about. I just think that there's so much pandering and there's so much kind of stuff that people don't understand, that there's a need to want to go back to some sort of, I guess, it's like TV's losing money. These are the basic things. These are the basic rules and the real reasons why. TV's losing money. So they think that somehow, some way, they got to go back to they got to go back to TV somehow. They got to push people back to TV. So they incite a little bit of a snafu with a whole bunch of things because they just don't care. Or they instead of pushing play with me again.
Citizens reporting 417 in
All right. So
East Hollywood.
realizing that
Copy that. On my way.
realizing that there are big reasons why you should care about the media platforms that you're around, and have the same kind of care for different media platforms, as in you should have the same kind of care between different media platforms as the fact that you'll never know when you'll actually need each other. And that's the reason why I think that the biggest part of what people don't realize
Citizens report
is
assault with a deadly weapon in
that's $13.
East
Tight.
Vinewood.
Eagle 3 is en route.
You son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. I just got that out. I think that there's a bigger reason than sometimes what people actually find in their own
William 2 requesting guidance. Where'd they go?
in their own.
This is Eagle
It's just
3.
like,
We don't see the
if
suspect.
this kind of relationship keeps happening and people don't understand that there's a bigger plot to fill, or a bigger hole to fill, or a bigger thing to it's like realize that we need each other's help and not the stupid shit that keeps happening, like, oh, this dude said this thing about this guy. This thing is this happening, and then there's this thing, and then it's just like there's so much you should be thinking about, and it's like I can't tell you what to think. I can't tell you what to talk about. I can't tell you how to feel. I can't tell you what to think about, because it's like you'll always think to yourself, oh, I think like that too. That whole thing that the dude's talking about right now is the thing that I'm thinking about, because it needs to be said. What needs to be said? What exactly needs to be said to someone who's heard 1,000 billion kinds of things and known exactly what to say and how to say it and the ways to say it, and what needs to be said more to that person in order to make them think, wow, maybe I was thinking stupid, you know? Maybe I was thinking that we need to start, like, helping each other, I guess, instead of hurting each other, and realize that no matter what a person's opinion there is about someone or something, if you choose to lose something, or if you choose to keep something around, then you'll start to realize that you're not disappointing random people. You're not creating a world, and I'm talking to a lot of different governments here. You're not creating a world where everyone gets to feel good about themselves. And that's all I have to say about that. I've heard so many things about people missing out on opportunities and missing out on things that they could have thought. The realization of actually being a good person, it takes a lot of effort to be a good person. It takes a lot of studying to be a good person. It takes a lot of knowledge to be a good person, because in a constantly changing economy and environment, there is a constant want and need for people to be able to create new and better places to be able to get themselves to, in order to be able to make sure that there's no hurtful or hateful remarks towards any one individual. Now, granted, if there's something that needs to be argued in court, then let it be argued in court. If there's something that needs to be if there's something that needs to be told as a reality, or a basic want to be able to be perceived as a reality, I guess. I mean, because there are so many different realizations we come to trying to see what is of a certain, not just reality, but our own world. Like, people need to start making sure that, and I know I talk about stupid shit and a cult and stuff like that, and that gets mixed in because I have a schizoaffective disorder. But as soon as I come to a different conclusion, as soon as I come to a certain purpose and a certain reason for the things that I'm coming up with, people will be the first people to know. Really wish there was a door there. Really, really wish there was a door there. God damn it. I just farted. But yeah, son of a bitch, I gotta walk all the way back. Or run. Wait, hold on. Yeah, I gotta go up. So, alright. I really thought that they would come see me in there, but they don't wanna, because I'm gonna be trying to talk about stuff I don't. Yeah. God damn it. I really like that song, Adam Tell. I'm not gonna put it on there for fear of receiving whatever copyright laws there are. But I will talk the lyrics. I think that it has a lot to do with having fun and realizing what goals you have in line for yourself, but also at the same time but also at the same time realizing that being sober and being right can be fun. Running, I want to see how many. Oh, wait! I did not last long. All right. The words go like this: break away. Forget your sober case. Stop stalling on empty words. Stop stalling in the doorway. I think that's what it says. Cut off the cruise control. Switch into manual. Which means take control of your life and stop cruising, basically. And switch into manual. Don't you want to feel right again? Don't you want to feel whole? And feel whole is like the moment you were conceived. It's the moment you had nothing to worry about because you were completely and utterly protected by whatever dividing cell was dividing for you. The moment you felt you had the most control was the moment you were a singular self for about 30 seconds. That's what basically I think what people actually call heaven, and they experience it like they saw a bright light or something, or when in actuality it's probably their own mind going into a delusion because of the fact that their cell is dividing. And yeah. Whee! Shit. I thought I wasn't gonna die. Sucks, man. Um, but that's basically what people are grasp for, or people that think they're attaining, because they don't realize that that's what happens. The reality of what they're grasping for is just another life. To be able to start over, to be able to do something, and to be able to... Oh. To be able to make sure that they're right, or that they're, But yeah. Basically, that's what I was thinking about. You have a life, and no matter through what sort of trauma or abuse or constant trauma you've gone through, realize that there is no purity after cell division. There is no life that has complete and utter infinite amounts of resources in order for you to be able to realize it comes a point to which in actuality you are eating your own shit. And that's basically what people think is heaven sometimes. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Just realize it. Eventually you're gonna start eating your own shit and you're gonna think it tastes good, and your cell's gonna divide, and it's just people just aren't gonna get it, man. People aren't gonna get it. I hope they get it one day and start to realize that they can't be the people that they are. Can't constantly choose the path of what they think is righteousness, and what they don't realize is they're not being sensitive enough to a person's needs in order to be able to let them be the person they need to be to make it in the world. No matter what type of person they are. They're gonna find that it's hard to make new things for themselves. To be able to make new relationships in a world that won't accept them. And they'll start to realize that they're shit. Oh man. I just can't wait till everyone sees it the way that they're supposed to see it, and not the way that I or anyone else or whatever portraying God wants you to see it. No matter who they are, just realize they don't have it. They don't know it. And there's no force in the world that's going to make you see it the way that you should or want to see it. But I think that after you start realizing that you can't change the world in a day, and you can't do the things you really want to do in the smallest amount of time, no matter if you're trying to cure cancer, or if you're trying to build a business from the ground up, or if you're trying to become friends with someone and think that that's it. That's all you need to do is become their friend and say, "Hey, how's it going?" Realize you have to build a relationship on something. You have to say that, "Hey, I trust you. You trust me. Can you trust me?" Because if you can't trust me, then I guess we don't have a friendship. Because that's the basis of everything. It's trust. It doesn't matter if you're thinking about the biggest thing that you could possibly ever accomplish, the biggest stunt you could ever possibly ever accomplish. You have to trust your own hands to be able to make that thing. You have to trust your own hands to be able, or your own body to be able to train to the ability of something a little bit more than yourself, or a lot of it more than yourself. And that trust takes everything. The stuff you would use for your own brain to be able to create stuff with your hands after you're 40. That's what it takes. And the more you do things that people wish you wouldn't do, the less trust you have from them, and the less happy you'll be. And the more you start thinking that the world is yours, the more that it gets stripped away from you. The more you start thinking that everything is completely calm and copacetic, the more it starts slipping out of your hands. It takes trust to be on top. That's what it takes. It takes trust. It doesn't just take skill. It doesn't just take skill. It takes trust. Because the more you start trying to force things to be your way, the less they will be. And that's the truth. No matter what way you think it's going to be, no matter what way you think is going to happen, that you think that something's going to be the way it is, I broke through. That's all I needed. It takes trust. No matter how much skill you have, for every amount of skill you have, it takes 2 to 3 truck tons of trust in order to get something through. To get something that actually needs to get done, to get done. For every speck of skill. Remember that. Yeah, for every ounce of skill, it takes at least 2 to 3 truck tons of trust. Grinding. Son of a bitch.
Fuckhead!
Almost died.
Loser! Cocksucker! What the fuck?
Come on, dog. Son of a bitch. Dogs don't do that. They don't back off. That's what annoys me, man. For every amount of skill, for every ounce of skill, there's a fuck ton. There's a 2.5 truck tons. Not fuck tons, because fuck ton is like maybe like a truck ton. Okay? At the most. At the most of the fuck tons, there's a truck ton. And then 2 or 3 truck tons is like I went to an orgy and then I went from that orgy to another orgy, and then there was 350 women that I pleased at that orgy. At least. That's basically how many truck tons it takes of trust to be able to make it in this world, to be able to have something that you need and something that you're better with. So and people don't trust all willy-nilly. They say they do, but they don't. And I'm gonna make some explosions. Let's see, wait. And yeah. I could have looked. I just realized that I could have looked through in order to see the explosions. I can get really far back, but I can use my sniper rifle and zoom in on any explosion and then just allow it to go. Alright, that's what I'm going to do this time. See if I can do it. Awesome. Can't do it because I just used all the rest of my gosh darn things. Alright. Alright, but yeah. Realize that happens, and I'm at 49 minutes, but I don't care. I'm probably done for the day, because... yeah, realize you are your own one-man metaphorical bomb squad, and,
Jackass! You're getting robbed!
I really think that if people start being nicer to each other, and I'm not saying this as like, oh, I can't take it. No, I don't give a shit about that. I just think that people start being nicer to each other and stop taking it all out on the Weinsteins. Yeah, yo, Weinsteins probably are never gonna make a film for at least a year. I mean, if anyone chooses to watch that film, and also, is it good? That's basically why equality is so hard driven. If you're gonna say equality in the acting business, then you're gonna want people to be hired across the board in the entire regions of people. If you want to say equality, then like, don't keep it in LA. Don't just keep it in LA, and don't just give extras jobs. Seriously, don't just give extras jobs. Realize that you can pick people from an actual region of places, and they can act sometimes just as good, if not better, than people who've been acting for ages. Stop saying that people get, oh, these people have been acting forever. I consider them legends. Yeah, you consider them legends. That's you. You consider them legends. You are entitled to your opinion. I am entitled to mine. I think people themselves, if they get rid of those jitters or anything like that, if they were to train people like they trained people in LA and California itself, then there would be no contest. People in other regions and other places would basically, there would be a competitive market. In anything going on, I think. And not just people who live in LA. Not just people who think that LA is some sort of place that you do or go to. Adult Swim wasn't made in LA. That could have been a starting point. Instead, people go to freaking what is it? They don't care anymore, and they just start doing stupid shit and saying dumb stuff and thinking that everything is going to be okay. It's like, no, you got to work for it every day. And it's like, oh, I don't have my sushi, so I'm mad. Bleh, whatever. Sushi's overrated sometimes. People don't eat sushi in Japan that as much. They don't. They eat regular stuff sometimes. They eat food. They eat beef and rice and broccoli and a whole bunch of different other stuff. They don't just eat. Sushi is considered a light snack in Japan. It's the reason why they're at train stations and stuff, and there's only like 1 or 2 dudes that actually do it. It's not always considered completely everything about respectability. It's the dude is respected because he's done it for so long. But if there were other people that did it, then yeah, they'd allow it. They wouldn't be like, well, if you don't, you gotta be in a part of a guild, and that's the only way. It's annoying. It's stupid. It's privatizing the amount of what inspires our country. And that's wrong. Can anybody see it? And then everyone chooses a scapegoat, and it's Weinstein. Everyone chooses a scapegoat, and it's just like, ooh, he's doing such terrible things, and oh my god, he's the only person in the entire industry that's ever ruined someone's life. It's like, people have died in the acting industry because of the amount of money they get paid. People have gotten killed over stuff. It's just like, oh, that guy died again. Oh, that guy died too. What did they die from? Oh, heart stopping. What happened? What did they do? It's about, oh, was it cocaine? Probably. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe they should stop spending so much goddamn money on cocaine and invest in some other actors that are around so they can make the market better. That's why they're so depressed, because they're doing cocaine all the time. It's annoying. It's stupid. I'm gonna explode my car. Rawr! That made me feel better. It's so annoying, man. I don't get shit like that. It's just like, oh, they can't have people do a lot of stuff that is awesome and cool in other areas because what would people think and how would people think it? And oh my God, there would be like this face because you have to have this face and it's got to be consistent and everything about it has to be consistent because if it's not consistent, then blah 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 and blah 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 and look, I'm talking more and blah 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 and God damn it, man, it's fucking. Those are my thoughts on that. So, remember, sometimes if you don't say your thoughts, they build up. And me having this debilitating disorder, I mix in a little bit of a cult and a lot of bit of common sense. I'm playing Dark Souls. Have a good day. And you are your own one-man metaphorical bomb squad. Be yourself, and I rant, but whatever. I don't even care anymore because there's no room for it. Is there? Just like, oh, look at those children talking up a storm, calling BS at a president that no one cares about anymore because no one should care about him because literally he's just like doing stuff for Twitter now. That's it. He's just advertising for Twitter to make people like, oh, this thing is happening this day, and if you follow this person on this thing, then this is happening, and get fired because it's fucking lame. I really think that it takes a long time for people to be able to build a certain respect and a certain admiration. But if people would learn to take that first step, and I really need to take that first step, because I'm tired of a tourism gate. I'm tired of tourism sometimes. I want people to like stuff that comes from New Orleans besides being here and expecting the worst. Where everything is fucking available, or where it's all legal in New Orleans. Fuck that, dude. Fuck doing that. Fuck being that. Don't be that for those people. They don't need to understand. They don't need to say that shit. It's fucking mean. When you get older, you'll start to realize the fucked upness about it. When you get older, you start to realize that being a terrible influence on people is the worst thing you could have ever possibly done. And you'll start to realize the reasons why a reputation and a better life, a reputation is a better life than just fucking going around and acting like you're a fucking boss to everybody because you think that you're, oh my God, man. There's so many people out there that just need a stern looking at, to look at themselves in the mirror and be like, just stop, man. Just stop. What are you going to be in 20 years? And if you're going to be dead, then you're not going to be my fucking problem. You're not going to be anyone else's problem. And no one's going to fucking bring your ass back. Don't be a fucking eyesore. Don't be a person that thinks that there's and not just an eyesore, like, I mean eyesore in the most respectable way, is a person who feels as though it's their responsibility to loud cap anyone who steps out of line. I'm not talking about just the haters or anything like that. I'm talking about people who think that it's their responsibility to give people a bad day because they think it's their job. And if you're not getting paid for it, then what the fuck are you doing it for? Like, what the fuck are you doing it for? What the fuck are you there for? And I may curse like a fucking idiot or say something stupid, but you know what? I'm saying something, and it's just stop.